The first point that I want to mention is something that people commonly forget to do. They focus a lot on asking questions, but not on actually connecting with the person. The whole point of a relationship is being able to find something that you can relate with the other person and then connecting with them. And you can do this even if you don't have the same life experiences as other people, because you still know what excitement and anxiety feels like, right? Then you can relate with how they're feeling to some degree at that moment. Look at how much Emma is able to connect with the host without having that same experience.
There's beers, everything, sake, all over the place.
Oh, God.
And all I heard, that's never a good, that's not a good sign, but.
Is anyone bleeding?
Is anyone bleeding? Yeah.
And then she was like,
You see the oh, eek. Those are all emotions that demonstrate that you understand how that person feels. And that allows you to connect with that person. Here's another example where Emma doesn't quite connect at first, but then she kept asking questions until she felt like they were on the same page.
A Scouser is somebody from Liverpool. Yeah.
a Liverpudlian.
A Liverpudlian.
So the Beatles are Scousers.
My husband is a Scouser.
And that's not offensive.
No, it's a
It weirdly...
wonderful...
Connection is all about understanding. It's not just you asking a bunch of questions. When the other side can feel that you have understood them, that is when the connection is made. If you have found this helpful, give us a like so I will make more stuff on this. For this next tip, I would really like for you to just listen a little bit more before you try to skip it, because it's gonna sound kinda dumb. But please, give it a chance. And this is, you have to actually believe that you are an interesting person first before anything actually happens. This is the reason. When you believe that you are a boring person, you make decisions that are more consistently confirming that bias, and then that becomes a cycle. But what you really want to do is jump into that cycle where you are affirming the fact that you are an interesting person, where you tried a new burrito because you are an interesting person, and that decision reinforces it. And then as a result, you make another interesting decision because of it. Your belief determines which cycle you are in. Just listen to how she describes herself.
How would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Probably very f***ing cool.
Now listen to what that identity has allowed her to do. She is able to think outside of the box and make interesting suggestions because she believes she is a cool person.
I like to make suggestions on set that no one ever agrees with, which is, wouldn't it be funny if just in this one scene I just turned to camera and kind of gave it a wink or something, you know?
I just want to say, a thought is more powerful than you think. The next tip is, if you feel like you don't have anything to share about yourself, I'm gonna help you with that. But if this is more about you wanting to have more life experiences, I have another video on that and you can check that out in the end. But when you focus on the things that you can share, focus on your emotional stories. And I'm not saying you have to laugh or cry over every small thing that you share, but you want to focus on the emotional changes. Let's say people are talking about music. You can share about what's the best and worst music you heard, controversial musicians, or what memory those music triggers. Can you see how these experiences brings up something that's more emotional and engaging? And then these matter more because people can now connect with them. Look at Emma's example of a funny story.
Oh, I once read that I look like a fish inside of a chicken smoking a cigarette, which is, I mean...
I see the resemblance.
It's uncanny.
Uncanny.
It really is.
Of course, you're not going to constantly think of these questions right away within conversations. It comes with very intentional practice. The people that you see that are just really smooth in telling stories, they probably told a good amount already. So don't compare, start at your own pace.
That is so cool. That's like people in our country being like, that's pretty streep.
We say youth.
Youth?
The youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, the youth say dench.
The youth. That's dense.
The last thing I want to share, it's kind of one of the ways that allows for you to unlock your internal personality. And this is by you following someone that's passionate and free about themselves. Look at how Emma demonstrates what it's like to feel free. Yeah, I know, maybe not everyone wants to be able to dance like that, but you want to be able to have the freedom to do it if you want to. Is it very easy to think, well, that's her, that's not me, I can't do that? Absolutely. But a better way to think is, what kind of positive habits does she have that allowed her to transform into her genuine self? And how can I practice that too? You can also listen for relatable struggles that these people share to see if there are any experiences that you can pick up that can allow for yourself to improve.
I was so convinced that I needed to do everything right and I couldn't. So I think from a young age, I put myself into boxes from being anxious, and it really, I think, limited me for a really long time. And
so what do you guys think about these tips? Let me know down in the comments. And if you like this video, you can check out some of my other ones, and I'll keep on talking to you there.